Before we take a deep dive into the truth behind your dinner table, do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Now, let's shift gears and focus on an aspect that often remains unseen, untouched, and unspoken about: the hidden side of food production. This isn't a guilt trip, not at all. It's a journey of discovery, a look at the practices that bring your favorite dishes from farm to plate. It's about the male calves that never see the light of day because they simply don't make economic sense. It's about hens crammed in battery farms, living their days in confined spaces. It's about fishing practices that are wasteful, casting wide nets without discernment. So as we embark on this journey, remember, it's not about pointing fingers, it's about learning, understanding, and sparking discussions. Now that you've buckled up, let's delve into the grim reality behind the food you consume. Imagine being born just to be deemed worthless. Welcome to the life of a male calf. In the dairy industry, the birth of a calf is a double-edged sword. For dairy farmers, female calves are prized possessions, future milk producers that continue the cycle of dairy production. But what about male calves? Unfortunately, they don't share the same fate. From the moment a male calf is born, he's deemed as less valuable. He can't produce milk, the golden goose of the dairy industry. Consequently, his life path is set on a different, darker course. Now you might think, surely they're raised for beef, right? Well, not exactly. Dairy breeds, such as the Holstein, are great for milk production, but they don't grow as large or as quickly as beef breeds. This makes them less profitable for beef production. So what happens to these male calves? Well, some are sold for veal production. They're often kept in restricted conditions to keep their meat tender, leading to a life that's short and, quite frankly, not very sweet. Others aren't so lucky. Every year, thousands of male calves are killed shortly after birth, simply because it's not economically viable to raise them. It's a harsh reality, one that's hidden behind the creamy lattes and cheesy pizzas we all enjoy, but it's crucial to remember that these practices are a product of our demand for dairy. So what can we do about it? Well, some dairy farmers are finding ways to give these male calves a purpose. Some are being raised for beef, albeit at a slower growth rate. Others are being used in sustainable farming practices, helping to maintain pasture land and contribute to biodiversity. However, these practices are not widespread, and they can't solve the problem alone. It's up to us, the consumers, to be aware of the realities behind our food and make choices that reflect our values. So the next time you're enjoying that cheese platter, remember the unsung male calves. Ever wondered why your eggs are so cheap? Meet the hens from battery farms. In the shadowy recesses of our food industry, there exists a world that many of us would rather not think about. A world where hens, the producers of the eggs we enjoy in our omelets, quiches, and pastries, live in conditions that are far from sunny side up. Welcome to the world of battery farms. In these factories of production, hens are crammed into cages so small they can barely spread their wings, let alone roam freely. Each hen has less space than a sheet of letter-sized paper. They're stacked on top of each other in these cramped quarters, with waste from the upper cages often falling onto the birds below. The air is thick with ammonia from the accumulated waste, which can lead to respiratory issues in the hens. The hens are often debeaked, a process where part of their beak is removed without anesthesia to prevent them from pecking each other out of stress and frustration. They live their lives under artificial light, manipulated to maximize their egg production. But what does this mean for the eggs we consume? Well, studies suggest that eggs from hens raised in these conditions are more likely to contain bacteria like Salmonella. Furthermore, the hen's high-stress environment can lead to weak eggshells and pale yolks. And the hens themselves? Their bodies are pushed to the limit, laying more eggs than they naturally would. Their bones become brittle from the constant laying and lack of exercise, often leading to fractures and other health issues. Once their egg production declines, typically after a couple of years, they're considered spent and sent off to slaughter. This grim reality is the price we pay for cheap eggs. It's a hidden cost, tucked away in the dark corners of battery farms, away from the eyes of the consumer. But it's a cost that impacts the welfare of millions of hens and the quality of the eggs we eat. Cheap eggs might taste the same, but at what cost? Fishing isn't just about casting a line and waiting for a bite, it's a vast industry with some dark corners. The ocean, our planet's largest ecosystem, is a treasure trove of biodiversity. Yet our insatiable appetite for seafood and the industry's wasteful practices are putting a strain on this delicate balance. Let's delve into the concept of bycatch. Bycatch refers to the unintended victims of fishing practices. For every targeted species hauled aboard, numerous other species are caught and subsequently discarded. This collateral damage includes dolphins, sea turtles, and juvenile fish that haven't had the chance to reproduce yet. Imagine throwing away almost half of your catch, not because it's not edible, but because it's not what you're fishing for. That's bycatch for you. Next, we venture into the realm of overfishing. Overfishing is like withdrawing more money from your bank account than you're depositing. It's unsustainable. Many of our favorite seafood dishes are made from species that are being fished faster than they can reproduce. Bluefin tuna, for instance, is a sushi staple, yet it's critically endangered due to overfishing. We're eating these species to the brink of extinction, but it's not just about the fish. Overfishing has ripple effects throughout the marine ecosystem. Removing a species from the food chain can lead to an overgrowth of their prey and a shortage for their predators, upsetting the balance of the marine ecosystem. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions. Improved fishing gear can reduce bycatch, while sustainable fishing practices and marine reserves can help fish populations recover. But ultimately, it's about making conscious choices as consumers. The next time you're enjoying your sushi, consider the journey it took to reach your plate. And remember, every bite we take is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. The power to change these practices lies in your hands, or should we say, on your plates. As we delve deeper into the world of food production, we come to understand how each bite we take, each sip we drink, has a ripple effect that extends far beyond our immediate surroundings. You see, our food choices are not just about personal preference or dietary needs. They carry an environmental weight, influencing the lives of farm animals, the health of our oceans, and even the air we breathe. Consider, for instance, the humble hamburger. Its journey from farm to table involves a chain of events that impact our planet. The rearing of cattle contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, and the grain used to feed these animals could alternatively be used to feed millions of people. But there's no need to despair. There are ways to make our diets more sustainable, and they don't necessarily involve giving up your favorite foods. How about trying a plant-based burger for a change? Plant-based proteins require less water, less land, and produce fewer emissions than their animal-based counterparts. And with today's innovative food technologies, they can be just as tasty. Or perhaps you might want to consider adopting a less but better approach to meat consumption. Opt for locally sourced, ethically raised meat. This not only reduces the carbon footprint, but also supports better animal welfare practices. And let's not forget about the power of reducing food waste. When we make the most of what we have, we lessen the demand for excessive food production. While these are just a few suggestions, the options are endless. From supporting local farmers to growing your own vegetables, every step counts. Remember, it's not a race to perfection, it's about progress, about making choices that are a little kinder to our planet, a little more considerate of animal welfare. It's about understanding that our plates, our choices, have the potential to make a significant impact. It's not about perfect choices, it's about making better ones. Remember, you have the power to make a difference. We've taken you on a journey behind your dinner plate, and it's been quite an eye-opener, hasn't it? We've ventured into the often unseen world of food production, from the plight of the male calf, rendered valueless in the dairy industry, to the hidden lives of hens in battery farms. We've also dived deep into the complexities of fishing practices where waste is often as abundant as the catch itself. Through it all, we've highlighted the power of your choices. Every meal, every snack, every bite holds the potential to influence this system, for better or worse. The truth is, informed choices can lead to a more sustainable and humane food industry. We've given you the facts, now the choice is yours. Thanks for being with us on this journey, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more enlightening content.